All right, so let me quickly run through again what I was talking about here on the USTEC 100. So I was saying here that the new week has started on a very positive note for us on this particular asset, and I was going on to talk about the fundamental factors that are likely going to be affecting these assets today, and in fact for this week. And I did mention about the Federal Open Market Committee, that is the FOMC, who they begin the two-day meeting today, and the interest rate decision will be announced tomorrow, that is Wednesday. Now the markets widely expect that the FOMC will leave interest rates steady at 5.25 stroke 5.50% for the third consecutive straight meeting, and market participants anticipate that the FOMC will not only alter rising interest rate, but will also begin cutting rates as soon as March 2024. Now, with this data here, with this data here, and the anticipation of the high impactful event from the United States, you will see that in the last 12 to 15 hours, price action has been consolidating, caught within a range to further emphasize the level of indecision in the market, which is something that is usual with such events. Now, I did went on to emphasize that for those who still have a buy position, that we do want to be moving all our stop losses to that area around the 16,200, and I did emphasize that while you move your stop losses, please ensure that you give enough breathing space for price action to move around, just in case we witness some choppy situations, retracement moves, and consolidation phases before the next big move will happen here. So we started the week by identifying a range. For the sake of those who are not part of our earlier session, this is what we saw at the beginning of the week right here on the 4 hours time frame, as we saw price action confined within the $16,097 area, and of course the $16,037 level to emphasize the level of indecision during the first 12 hours of the week. And with this kind of situation, we positioned ourselves above the $16,097 level. Remember, I was mentioning here yesterday that it is more likely that price will break out of the 16,097, that is the resistant line of that range, before we can join any buying opportunity here. And for the fact that price still remains above our key level, which is situated at the $16,000 mark, will be all we need to look out for buying opportunities, and that the only condition that will make us sell is for price to break down, retest, and give us some confirmations before we join. And of course, that never happened, hereby negating any idea of even thinking of selling. Now, for those of us who are joined right now, price action is consolidating right now. We saw the breakout of structure, had about 150 pips in profit on this single one, and I do hope you have moved your stop losses accordingly. And if you have done so, well done. And with a well secured position at this juncture, what is going to be our next line of action for today? Are we going to continue buying the USTEC 100, or are there chances that some profit-taking activities will come in to incite a sell-off, maybe back to retest the level that was broken yesterday? Now, before we go into the details, let's scale up into the higher time frame, that is the 4 hours time frame, and let's look at what is really going on in this particular market. Now, on the daily time frame right here, we were able to identify a key level at the $16,000 level. Now, this level here, if we go to as far back as October 2021, we saw how this level has been playing a strong role in pushing price to the downside. Now, we saw what happened here in January 2022. We saw selling pressure around this area. And during the month of July of this year, we saw selling pressure around this level. And in fact, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, price action has been trading right around that area. And in fact, it has broken that structure this week to push price to the upside. Now, if we zoom into the current structure, as you will see here, the question at this juncture is, You know, from a technical standpoint, when price action does break out a structure, we expect it to come back and retest the structure in anticipation of another wave of bullish momentum. So are we going to be seeing some profit taking activity happen today? If it does, then we could see price retrace back into the 16,100 to inside an uptrend move. Now, to make things much more clearer for us, we went to the 4 hours time frame where we did identify a range which we said we will be using to guide our decisions for this week. Now, on the 4 hours time frame, we were able to spot a range where price was confined, that is the 16,160 and the 15,750, and in fact price has been oscillating within this range in the last 4 to 5 weeks now. Price action has been ranging within this area. Now, with our key level at the $16,000 area, you know how we use our key levels in this community. As soon as price breaks out of our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that supports the idea of buying. Now, price action broke out this level, broke out the 16,160 to give us 2 positions running on this particular asset all the way to the upside here. Now we are at a very crucial juncture in the market right now as we get prepared for the CPI data and the Fed interest rate. Now the question here is, are we going to be seeing a retracement back to maybe the 16,160 or the 16,000 area to join an uptrend, to inside an uptrend move? That is price coming back to either here to inside an uptrend or break down to insights an uptrend like this. So if this is going to be the case, we will be looking at a minimum of 75 pips to a maximum of about 250 pips to catch here if price will ever drop to the downside. Now, scaling down into the 1 hour time frame, we will begin to see things more clearly. Now, right here on the 1 hour time frame, it is quite clear that throughout the Asian session, the new level at the $16,260 area had been a major barrier, negating all attempt by the buyers to break out of that structure. Now, if this persists, we might likely be seeing price nosedive to the downside, maybe into the 16,160 or maybe back into the structure or even as far as the $16,000 mark. Now, how do we want to capitalize on this move? Now, presently price is within a range right now. We have the 16,260 and the 16,230. So we want to be labeling the support line here 16,230. Have your at the bottom right here. So let me extend this out a little bit so we should see things more clearly. So we do have a range to work with for today. Now, if price will ever break down this range, that is the 16,230, we might be seeing an opportunity to join a profit-taking activities, maybe back into the 16,160. And in fact, if price will break down the 16,160, this could welcome more selling opportunities, maybe back into the $16,097 level. And in fact, if price will break down that structure again to the downside, we could be adding more sell positions to our existing trade. However, as price gets into the structure, we want to make sure that all our stop losses are moved to secure them. That is, if price gets into this area, move all your stop losses, protect your existing position while you wait and see how price would react to that level. So if buy pressure resumes above this level, like double bottom structures or head and shoulder pattern, then the breakout of the neckline will be welcoming an uptrend continuation. The same thing could also happen around this area too if buy pressure resumes around that area. But if it gets broken to the downside, retest of structure will definitely confirm that we will be adding more sell positions to our existing trade. So below the 16,230 is where we shall be welcoming selling ideas on this particular asset. However, considering the strong bullish momentum that got us to this point, we will be looking out for buying opportunities only if price action will break out of the 16,260. Now, as a result of that, I have a buy stop order sitting above the structure to capitalize on the uptrend move, while your stop losses will be anywhere below this level. That's about 25 pips thereabout on that one. So let's see how the market will play out today. We have a very simple setup here, as the range between the 16,260 dollars level and the $16,230 area is simply where our center of focus is going to be for today, where depending on the direction of the breakout will give us an idea into where price is likely going for today's trading session. So let's mark these levels out on our chart, as we will be needing them to guide our independent trading decisions for today. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So as usual, I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds off and see if there are any questions before we move on to the next asset on our watch list.